All right, so are you ready to dive deep into the career of JOAO FELIX?
Oh, absolutely. I've been looking forward to this one.
Yeah, he's a fascinating player, isn't he? I mean, this young Portuguese forward
Yeah.
who's already played for some of the biggest clubs in Europe,
Mm-hmm.
Benfica, Atletico Madrid, Chelsea, even Barcelona for a bit.
Crazy, right?
Crazy, yeah. And he's still only 24 years old.
I know. It's wild.
So today we're going to try to unpack his journey so far, see what we can learn from his career.
Sounds good.
And our main source for this deep dive is going to be his Spanish Wikipedia page,
Okay, cool.
which is always interesting. You know, you never know what kind of
Yeah, different perspectives.
different perspectives you'll find when you look at different language versions of Wikipedia.
Totally.
So we'll see what kind of nuggets we can dig up there.
Looking forward to it.
So just to give everyone a little taste of what we're going to be talking about today, we're talking about a guy who commanded a record-breaking transfer fee when he moved to Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, that was huge.
I mean,
Right.
absolutely massive, right? We're also going to talk about that incredible hat trick he scored in the Europa League at just 19 years old.
I remember watching that game. It was insane.
And of course, we can't forget about his very public desire to play for Barcelona,
Which eventually happened.
which he did. Yeah. So it's like he manifested his own destiny.
Exactly.
So yeah, lots to unpack today.
Let's do it.
Okay. So Felix was born in 1999
Okay.
and started his football journey at SL Benfica's youth academy.
Mm-hmm. The Legendary Academy.
Yeah. It's one of the best in the world, right?
Oh, yeah. They've produced so many top players.
I mean, they produced some incredible talents over the years.
For sure.
So what was it about Felix, even at that young age,
Yeah.
that made people think, okay, this kid is special? Was it his goal scoring? Was it his playmaking?
I think it was a combination of things, Even as a teenager, he just had this incredible flair,
Flair, okay.
this ability to create something out of nothing.
Right.
And yeah, he was scoring goals, but it was more than that.
More than that.
He had this vision, this awareness on the pitch
Okay.
that just set him apart from everyone else.
So he's rising through the ranks at Benfica, and by 2016, he's already playing for their B team
Wow.
at just 16 years old.
That's incredible.
I mean, that's the second division in Portugal, right?
Yeah.
So he's playing against grown men, seasoned professionals.
And holding his own.
Exactly. He played 29 games for Benfica. B scored 7 goals and had 5 assists.
Not bad for a teenager.
Not bad at all,
Yeah.
especially considering the competition.
Right.
So it's no surprise that he gets promoted to Benfica's first team just 2 years later.
Makes sense.
He makes his professional debut at 18, and then things really take off.
Here we go.
His first season with the senior squad is just remarkable.
Tell me about it.
They win the Premier League title. It's the top league in Portugal.
Mm-hmm.
He scores 15 goals, provides 9 assists in the league,
Wow.
and he makes his Champions League debut all in the same season.
All at 18 years old.
At 18 years, I mean, come on.
That's unheard of.
You're practically still a kid.
I know.
What was the reaction like in Portugal at the time? Were people already calling him the next Ronaldo?
Oh, definitely. There was definitely a buzz around him.
Right.
People were excited. The media were all over him.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the Ronaldo comparisons were already starting.
Yeah.
But then came the Europa League, and that's when things went absolutely crazy.
Oh, yeah, the hat trick.
The hat trick.
You know, you've made it when they just start calling it the hat trick, like it's some historical event.
Right.
So tell me about that game.
Okay, so picture this. Benfica are playing Eintracht Frankfurt
Okay.
in the Europa League quarterfinal.
Right.
And Felix is just 19 years old at the time.
19
And he just goes off.
goes off.
3 goals, an absolute masterclass.
Wow.
And with that hat trick, he becomes the youngest player ever to score a hat trick in a Europa League match.
So he scores a hat trick in a major European competition at 19 years old.
Unreal.
I mean, that's the kind of performance that puts you on the map globally.
Oh, yeah.
So what happened after that? Were scouts from every major club suddenly knocking on his door?
Pretty much it was open season on JOAO FELIX.
Open seas.
Everyone wanted a piece of him.
Wow.
Clubs were throwing around crazy sums of money trying to lure him away from Benfica.
And that brings us to the big move, the one that shattered records and sent shockwaves through the football world.
Atletico Madrid.
Atletico Madrid. So he's in Madrid at 19 years old,
Yeah.
playing for one of the biggest clubs in the world,
Mm-hmm.
with a price tag hanging over his head that could buy a small island.
No pressure, right.
But here's the thing. Atletico Madrid, under Diego Simeone,
Right.
they're known for a very specific defensive style of play.
Yeah, very tactical.
It's all about discipline, grinding out results.
Mm-hmm.
Not exactly the free-flowing attacking football that Felix thrived in at Benfica.
Yeah.
Was that a recipe for disaster?
It definitely presented a challenge. You have this young creative attacker
Right.
used to expressing himself freely,
Mhm.
and suddenly he's dropped into a system that emphasizes pragmatism over flair.
Yeah.
It's like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole.
So how did Felix adapt to this change?
Well, there were definitely growing pains.
Okay.
Reports of clashes with Simeone surfaced.
Right.
Whispers of frustration from Felix.
Interesting.
He wasn't always starting.
Yeah.
Wasn't always given the freedom he was used to.
Right.
It's tough, when you're a young player,
Yeah.
used to being the star, and
Mhm.
suddenly you're being asked to sacrifice for the team.
To play a more restricted role.
Exactly.
But even with those challenges, he still managed to contribute.
He did.
He was part of Atletico's La Liga title win in the 2020-21 season.
That's right. Their first title in 7 years.
So he's winning trophies, even if it's not always pretty.
Yeah, he scored 7 goals and added 5 assists that season in the league.
Okay.
Showed his versatility, too, playing in different attacking positions.
So not the explosive breakout that some expected,
Right.
but steady progress nonetheless.
For sure.
What happened next?
Well, after 3.5 seasons in Madrid,
Okay.
it became clear that things weren't quite clicking.
Yeah.
The goals weren't flowing as freely as many had predicted,
Right.
and the relationship with Simeone remained strained.
I see.
So in January 2023, he went on loan to Chelsea in the Premier League.
I'll see. Okay.
It was seen as a fresh start, a chance to prove himself in a new environment.
A chance to escape Simeone's shadow, maybe.
Perhaps the Premier League is known for its fast-paced attacking style,
Right.
which seemed like a better fit for Felix's strengths, on paper at least.
On paper.
But the move to Chelsea wasn't exactly smooth sailing either.
What happened?
Well, his debut was memorable for all the wrong reasons.
Oh.
He received a red card in his very first match against Fulham.
Oh, wow.
How-
Talk about a nightmare debut.
Yeah, not the start anyone was hoping for.
A red card in your first game for a new club in a new league?
It's rough.
That's got to mess with your head.
It definitely set him back, but to his credit, he did show flashes of his talent during his time at Chelsea.
Okay, so what were his numbers like?
He scored 4 goals in 16 Premier League appearances.
Okay, so not a bad return, considering the circumstances.
No, not bad at all.
But was it enough to convince Chelsea to make the move permanent?
There were rumors, but ultimately Chelsea decided not to pursue a permanent deal at the end of the season.
Interesting.
It seemed like maybe he wasn't a perfect fit for their plans at that time.
Yeah.
And then came a surprising twist, a loan move to Barcelona.
Wait, hold on. Didn't he publicly say that he dreamed of playing for Barcelona?
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
He'd actually expressed his admiration for the club and his desire to play for them one day.
So was this a case of manifesting his own destiny or just a bizarre coincidence?
Well, you could say it was a dream come true, even if it was just a loan move.
And how did he do at the Camp Nou? Did he live up to the hype?
He seemed revitalized, energized by the move.
Yeah.
He scored 7 goals in 30 La Liga appearances for Barcelona
Not bad.
and added another 3 in other competitions.
So he's scoring goals, playing well, seemingly happy. You'd think Barcelona would make the move permanent.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? But despite his impressive performances, Barcelona decided not to make the move permanent.
Wow, that's surprising.
It was.
So back to Chelsea.
Yes. In a somewhat unexpected turn of events, Chelsea signed him on a permanent deal in the summer of 2024.
Wow.
This time on a 7-year contract.
7 years. That's a long time, Austin. Chelsea must be convinced that he could be a key player for them long term.
It certainly seems that way. Maybe they finally figured out how to unlock his full potential.
Maybe they see something in him that they didn't see before.
It's possible. Or maybe it's just a case of the right player at the right time.
Right place, right time.
But before we dive into that, let's talk about his international career.
Okay.
Because that's another chapter where we see JOAO FELIX making his mark on the world stage. So yeah, let's talk about his international career.
Okay, so he made his debut for the senior Portuguese national team in 2019, right?
That's right.
I mean, talk about pressure. You're not just representing your country. You're playing alongside Cristiano Ronaldo,
Oh yeah.
a living legend.
One of the greatest of all time.
What was that like for him?
I mean, it must have been a surreal experience for a young player like Felix.
Yeah.
He gets called up for the UEFA Nations League finals,
Okay.
and there he is, sharing the pitch with his idol.
And they won the tournament.
They did. They beat the Netherlands in the final 1-0.
Wow. Winning a major international tournament in your first outing with the national team.
Talk about a dream start to your international career.
I mean, that's a story you tell your grandkids.
Absolutely.
So he wins the Nations League, and he's been a regular in the Portuguese squad ever since.
Yep. Played in the Euros, the World Cup.
And he's not just there to make up the numbers, right? He's actually scoring goals, making a real contribution.
Oh, yeah. He scored some crucial goals for Portugal.
Oh, wait.
Well, his first international goal came in 2020
Right.
against Croatia in the Nations League.
Yeah.
And he even found the back of the net at the 2022 World Cup in Qatar.
So he's delivering on the big stage, both for club and country.
He is.
It's pretty impressive.
It really is.
All right, so let's take a step back and look at the big picture for a second.
Okay.
We've got a player who's won league titles with Benfica and Atletico Madrid, a Nations League title with Portugal.
Mm-hmm.
He's won the prestigious Golden Boy Award.
That's right. Voted the best young player in Europe in 2019.
And he's still only 24 years old.
Crazy, right?
So where does he go from here?
Well, that's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's already achieved so much, but he's still young, still developing.
He has the potential, right?
Oh, absolutely. He has the talent and the potential to become one of the best players in the world.
Like a true icon.
Exactly. But there are still questions.
What kind of questions?
Can he find that consistency, that killer instinct that separates the good from the great?
Yeah.
Can he silence the doubters who say he hasn't quite lived up to the hype?
And maybe, just maybe, he can fill the void that will eventually be left by Cristiano Ronaldo.
Those are some big shoes to fill.
They are. But he's shown that he has the talent and the temperament to handle the pressure.
It's going to be fascinating to watch his journey unfold.
It really is.
He's had his ups and downs, but one thing's for sure, JOAO FELIX's story is far from over.
It'll be interesting to see what happens next.
Yeah, he has time on his side.
And the football world will be watching.
Absolutely.
So what do you think? What does the future hold for JOAO FELIX? Let us know your thoughts. And as always, thanks for joining us on this deep dive.